Hello everyone, my name is Kira and today I will cover everything you need to know about Citlali, her builds, teams and much more. Her level up materials should be on screen right now. But before we actually begin, I would like to thank everyone for hitting 100 subscribers today. This is my first big milestone and I'm very happy with it. To celebrate this, I will make another video tomorrow, so stay tuned. With that out of the way though, we shall actually begin. Citlali's kit is fairly simple, thank God. Her normal attacks are, well, normal attacks. Her skill is the main part of her kit though. Her skill applies a shield to the active character, which is on the level of the honest shield generally. Not super strong, but not very weak either. It also summons a doll named Its Papa that attacks enemies off field and consumes Night Soul. Her ultimate does a big chunk of damage and restores Night Soul points for Citlali, and does a bit of chip damage right after. Her passives are a very important part of her kit and define her niche. Her first passive states that if a party member triggers the melt or freeze reaction, it reduces enemy pyro and hydro resistance by 20%. And Citlali restores a bit of Night Soul energy as well. This tells me that Citlali is meant to be a support for hydro and pyro DPS. Her second passive is a simple damage increase to her elemental skill and burst damage. She also has the typical Natlan exploration passives, specifically for the Batsaurians that jump high and can glide. With that out of the way, I want to briefly review her first two constellations, as they might matter to some people. Her C1 is a bit wordy, but it is simple. Imagine Shen has coils from her burst. She increases the damage for the next 10 hits of any of Citlali's allies after she uses her skill. 13 if using melt or vaporize reactions. Also slightly reduces Natlan energy consumption during exploration. This constellation is good, but it isn't insane or a game changer really. But this kind of buff is really good, and the constellation is worth it if you want to vertically invest into the granny. Her C2 though is a Kazuha C2 but on steroids. Not only does it add another 20% rest shred into her passive, making the buff equivalent to a Viridescent Venerar buff, but also gives 250 EM to the active shielded character. As a lot of recent C2s, this one is quite busted and puts on a high level of buffing. But don't feel pressured to get her cons, she's perfectly functional at C0 and with F2P weapon options. With her kit explained, let me now give you all the information you need to know to build Citlali. First off, as an Atlan unit, she can use the scroll set. She's the first cryo character to use this set, making her a very helpful asset to the teams that can use it and also use a cryo unit. Easily her best set. As a catalyst user, she also has access to some really good catalyst options as well. Mainly Thrilling Tales and Wandering Everstar. For building her, you want to focus on elemental mastery to strengthen her shield, and energy recharge to be able to burst every rotation. Her ER requirements are not completely crazy, but you still have to build your way around them. 160% should be a good enough middle ground for most cases. Credit to TGS for all the calcs shown in the video, by the way. For Citlali's weapons, generally her signature is the best by around 10% usually. Other weapons you can use are TDDS for attack carries. It provides a similar buff to her Stig in fact. The only issue is that it limits your rotation by forcing you to use Citlali right after your carry. And also it doesn't provide any EM, which can weaken your shield. A good middle ground would be Wandering Everstar, which provides EM and a bit of a buff. Just not on the scale of Sig and TDS respectively. The only flaw is that it's a gacha only weapon, making it slightly harder than your average weapon to get. Another good option would be Nahida's signature weapon because it provides a good amount of EM and also buffs a tiny bit through her team-wide EM buff. This is an okay weapon overall, just not great. Other weapons that work will be shown on screen through a tier list made by TGS. Thank you again. With her basic build out of the way, let's talk teams. Citlali perfectly fits into any Pyro or Hydro DPS teams. Arlecchino, Nuvilette, Mavuika, Linnea is also good. Gaming and even Yoimiya out of all characters. Just not Hu Tao. She also works quite well for Chaska as she's her best new slot. Some of her best new teams utilize the melt reaction, which is something unique to only Citlali teams specifically. Using her with someone like Rosaria can enable both Mavuika and Arlecchino to melt most of her hits, dealing some of the very biggest damage in the entire game, like some of the highest damage ceilings in the entire game. Even for Hydro DPS like Nuvilette, they benefit from freeze. Nuvilette specifically really likes Citlali, not only because she provides a shield, which she likes, she also provides the freeze reaction, allowing for even more comfort. This won't be the absolute best team for him though, it's gonna be between Zhongli and Chilonen variants. However, using Citlali there frees up your Chilonen, a heavily contested character as of now, while not being all that much behind. Basically, Citlali is an amazing unit for those who have a lot of Pyro DPS teams, and she enables some of the highest damage dealings in the entire game, and on top of that, she provides a shield. Very amazing. And that's all I had to say about Citlali. Overall, she's amazing and works well in many teams and pushes some of the highest numbers in the entire game. If this video helped you or kept you informed, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. I'm a small content creator and appreciate any of your support. Have a good day or night wherever you are, and goodbye.